We envision a future where individuals are empowered to think critically and creatively, where citizens become agents of change by promoting self governance, co creation, and bottom up approaches. Welcome to our podcast. Welcome back to Creation Podcast. Today we have Max Koffi with us. Max, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy you accepted the invitation because I've met you some years ago that you're doing work with Africa in Motion. And I'm interviewing, as I told you before this, that I'm interviewing people that are doing inspiring things.
Yeah.
For people that are marginalized.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to share your story with our viewers.
Yeah.
So on that note, who is Max Koffi and what do you do?
That's a very nice question. So I can be short or long, but anyhow, I will try to tell a bit about me. I was born in West Africa in Togo. My parents came from Guinea. It's also in West Africa. I grew up in Congo, both Congo Brazzaville and Congo Kinshasa. So I feel more Congolese because I moved from Togo when I was 12. And I grew up in Congo. I've studied medicine there for 5 years. And then I went to France to do psychology. And after my graduation, I started traveling around Europe until I settled in the Netherlands. The reason why I left Africa was not to, like the standard migration story, like going to look for a better life.
Yeah.
I came to Europe to try to understand how it came that Europeans are dominating Africa. So I wanted to understand what was going on, what were the processes. And so I've been traveling around for a few years. I've been in Belgium, Germany, France, that's where I started, Norway, and then I end up in the Netherlands because it is a very small country where a lot of African people live.
Yes.
So I've done different things since I'm in the Netherlands. I started working in the educational system. So I was teaching at the high schools. I've done it for a few years. And then I also work for private companies.
Mhm.
Because of my French speaking skills. It's my mother language, French. So after that, I got involved in politics because I wanted to talk about this unequal relationship between Africa and the Western world.
Yes.
Through politics. And then I discovered very early that having influence on politics in Europe is much easier when you are outside of it.
Okay.
This is how I became let's say an activist. And then I set up my own organization, Africa in Motion, in 2012. And Africa in Motion is an organization, at the beginning, our main goal was to bring African people in the Netherlands, but extended to Europe, together and to speak with one voice about the policies made in Europe regarding Africa to let our voice heard.
Yes.
So we have done it for a few years with success also because we have get things done even at a high political level in the Netherlands, in the parliament. We got motion, we got amendment adopted which recognized the role of the African diaspora as a serious partner when it comes to policy regarding Africa. So that is how we started the advocacy, and then we start setting up projects to involve diaspora in development issues in Africa. As you know, in the diaspora, we have a lot of potential.
Yes.
We have a lot of African people with experience, with expertise, with knowledge, and that can be involved in development in Africa. So we started developing projects. That is how we met, especially in one of our projects when it was about an entrepreneurship program to link African migrant living in the Netherlands with business idea, to link them with partners in 5 African countries. So we are focusing on agriculture, sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, knowledge transfer, those kind of things. And so since 2012, we are doing that.
Yes.
When the COVID pandemic started, I also start reflecting on all this work I've been doing, or let's say we have been doing together with the African diaspora. And in the meantime, we are already working with the University of Wageningen to do research on the value chains of African raw materials. Mm-hmm. And it is when I discover what I was looking for actually when I left Africa. I really came to understand that the situation in Africa, the poverty specifically, it's a paradox, and it's very clearly linked to this unequal trade system that has been imposed to African countries. Yes. And that's when I initiated the movement called Equal Trade Alliance. So a bit short or long, that is who I am, what I'm doing, what I'm living for.
It's the mic is yours. Don't worry. Yeah, so I did see indeed. First, let me touch upon indeed witness the project of Africa in Motion, and I found it very inspiring that you were trying to link the diaspora, the African diaspora, to things happening. 1 second.
Ja.
Hoor geluid van buiten. Ga ik even bij mijn raam sluiten. Ja, ze zijn aan het maaien of iets.
Okay.
Okay.
For the mix.
So for Africa in Motion, where the entrepreneurs here from the diaspora were being linked to project or partners rather in Africa, it was really inspiring because I myself am a diaspora from the Caribbean, and it's similar situation where there's a brain drain. I can say we don't have as much natural resources to offer as Africa does. But there's definitely a brain drain when the youth comes here to study, and then they never go back because they accustomed here, and they see that the riches are here. They're concentrated in Europe, and that's why I was also very happy to see kind of the evolution of your project, the Africa in Motion, that it went to this Equal Trade Alliance. I'm actually very curious. What does the Equal Trade Alliance do?
Yeah. You said something very interesting. Um, you said the Caribbean, you don't have that much natural resources and raw materials to offer, but human resources
Yes.
are the most important, you
Yes,
know?
I meant like,
And
wood and
yes,
metals and these
yes. And,
things.
and that's exactly my point, we have been doing all these projects, right, with the diaspora, try to involve them and get them on the ground in Africa. We have enough success stories about that.
Mhm.
But when I realized that that was not also not the solution to African problems, that's when I start this initiative, Equal Trade Alliance. Because the real reason of the what they call poverty in Africa, which I call the paradox of poverty,
Yeah.
it's linked to this unequal trade system that has been imposed to all African countries, but it's the same system that is imposed to the Caribbean.
Yes.
It's the same system imposed to the global south if you extend it.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the problem? We deliver raw materials to the world. Africa is feeding the world now for centuries, but we never got something back from it. And these raw materials, there is one issue. First, the price of the raw materials are being decided outside of Africa. So, like, I come to you, you have this nice microphone, and I tell you, Radinka, I want to buy this, but the price is €1.
Yeah.
And because you don't have any industry, you don't make any product, so you need money to live. And you tell me, okay, €1 is good.
Mm-hmm.
And I take this microphone and I go sell it for €1,000.
Yeah.
And then I come back to you, I say, oh, Radinka, you are poor.
Yeah.
But shall I give you €1.50 for
You're
this
just
microphone?
hungry. Yeah.
And then you're happy. Yeah, now I get €1.50. Life is getting better,
Yeah.
with my partner Max. So this is the big, big, big problem of Africa and let's say the global south. We provide industrialized country with raw material. They pay ridiculous prices for it. And when they process the raw material, they create wealth.
Yeah.
The one country for the one people, and they make multi-billions business out of our raw materials. So this is how the story started when we initiated the research program with the Wageningen University. We researched on the value chain of cocoa beans, right? The cocoa beans that you find in the Netherlands comes from 85 or 87% from Ghana.
85. Wow. Yeah.
So all the production of cocoa beans from Ghana arrives in Amsterdam, right? Ghana owns every year something like $100 million from selling the raw materials. The Netherlands, who only makes semi-finished products from this cocoa, owns every year about 20 billions.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
So you can see the difference, 100 million and 20 billions. And when it comes to at the world market level, we're talking about 135 billions dollar every year made from one raw material from one African country.
Yeah.
And the same system is applied to all 54 African countries and all thousands of raw materials that are crucial for the industries in Western countries,
Mm-hmm.
in China, in America. So this is the reason of poverty in Africa,
Yes.
or the same reason of poverty in the global south. You said the Caribbean don't have enough raw material, but you have a lot of oil, which is being also exploited in the same conditions.
Yes,
They
definitely.
decide the price and they made multi-billions business out of it. So that's when this idea came of equal trade certification, which means that we need to change the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Stop talking about the price of the raw materials, but start talking about sharing the benefit made at the end of the value chain.
Right.
So this is summarized the concept of equal trade. So we are advocating now for a systemic change of the trade system in raw materials. We started for Africa, but it means for the whole global South.
Yeah.
We need to share the revenue made from the processing of our raw materials. This is the only way to stop, I don't like the word stop, to eradicate poverty.
Mm.
Because poverty in our countries doesn't make any sense. There is no one logical reason for poverty in any African country. So this is where we are fighting for now, and we are organizing it in a specific manner. Because if you start talking about this as individual, you will face a lot of resistance, and as one individual, you are a very easy target.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Even if one country start talking about this, the governments, they become easy target. So to succeed in this advocacy, we need to do it at Pan-African level.
Yeah.
It has to be a kind of uprising of the African youth in all 54 African countries at the same time. But then we associate it also with mobilization of young people in industrialized countries. So now we have started to campaign in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
We are extending it to Germany, to Spain, to Italy, to France. We want to also cover all 27 European countries.
Yes.
Mobilize the youth for them to understand that this system is running in their behalf without them knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big, big problem. I see it anytime I go for awareness campaign. Last I was at the University of Delft. Can you imagine someone asked me, or he told me at the end that he was not aware that agriculture was possible in Africa.
Wow. That is, I cannot imagine, no, but
That's, yeah,
at
it
the same time, I
happened.
can't, yeah, there's such an ignorance sometimes.
Yes, 2 months ago, someone was almost getting his master, which means is very close to become a parliament member if he wants.
Yes.
So this is what's going on. We need to campaign, make people aware, but at Pan-African level, but also in industrialized countries. So this is a bit the story of Equal Trade Alliance.
I think what you just said is a very good example of when we talk about things like colonialism and even slavery to an extent that we hear often, those of us that want to start up this conversation, we often hear, oh, but it's long gone, it's been 100 years already. But if you compare that, a system ran basically, I think it was like 400 years, and then it's only been in comparison
Yeah,
ended for 100 years. That means that system that was set in place is still pretty much running, because it's not like they, first of all, there's a misconception that they freed the slave. No, the enslaved people fought for their freedom, and then
exactly.
once that it was no longer profitable, or the state here in Europe was no longer able to convince the people, let's keep having enslaved people, that they were demanding change. Once that abolished, it's not like the system
Change it.
for
Yeah,
100 years it just
yeah. Yeah,
Imagine wins that.
it's still going on, you know. That's why. And like at that time of slavery, people were fighting against. Our generation should have the same duty. We are not free until this day we are talking now. They call it neo-colonialism, but the system hasn't changed. I always make a joke. I tell people this colonial plan was one of the best plans ever made because it's still working.
Yes.
And people even don't know about it. They don't realize uh, it's so strong that people just acknowledge like, oh, this is normal. In Africa, people think poverty comes from God.
Oh, wow.
In Europe, people think wealth is normal, you know, because we have been working hard. We are intelligent.
Yes.
That's the reason. But there is an underlying system that has never changed. And the only way to change it is to create a critical mass of people at both sides,
Mm-hmm.
in global South countries, but also inside Western countries,
Yes.
to break down the resistance of this multinational. Because the youth in Europe has political and also economical power.
Mm-hmm.
They are the one buying these products
Yes.
and they are the one voting politicians. The only thing is that they are not aware of what's going on. And that's our duty to make them aware like this is running in your behalf.
Yes.
Do you agree with this? Okay, let's forget slavery. Fine. But what's going on now, it's even more dangerous than slavery, you know. So, and it is going on, this running in your behalf. Do you accept this?
Mhm.
Do you agree with it?
Yeah. I
Because
think
there is a solution. We can change the system without fighting.
yeah, that is, we both have that idealism. But I think, yeah, that there's certainly the mass majority of, let's say, commoners are not aware that this system is running on their behalf. I would say that once you bring awareness to them, there will still be a part of them that will have some resistance because you've become so comfortable
Yes,
with the riches that this system brings. Do they have real incentive to really
yes.
do what needs to be done in order for this to?
Actually. So the awareness is about first the on this side and industrialized countries, explaining them like, look, this system runs in your behalf. You can change it if you want,
Mhm.
but make them also aware. If you don't change this, what will come will be worse than anything you expect.
Yeah.
If Africa unite and then we decide to stop relationship with Europe, you will get yourself in big troubles.
Yeah.
So do you want a peaceful transition to a just word? It's time, you can do it.
Mhm.
Or you want chaos, you will get it also.
Yeah. It's gonna change regardless.
It's gonna change anyhow.
Yeah.
And the peaceful way is the best for you. And so this is also part of the awareness creation. So the one who are going to resist, we tell them it's fine, but look at what's coming to you after.
Yeah.
You can resist, it's fine. But don't think African youth will accept this for centuries.
No, it's
And if they stand
enough.
up, yeah, if
Yeah.
they stand up in Africa, they can destabilize the whole system. You won't have any cocoa coming to the Netherlands,
Yeah.
which means your chocolate industry will just collapse. So where are you going to find jobs?
Yeah.
If we don't send you coltan, you won't have any industry to
Cell
make
phones.
mobile phones. How are you going to call your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Or how are you going to email your parents? How are you going to treat people in hospital?
No more, yeah, no more avocados. No more.
Nothing. So, and this is what will happen because the mobilization in Africa is ongoing right now. We are already in 38 countries in Africa.
Yeah.
So we have teams, and those teams are mobilizing youth. We have youth ambassador, campus ambassador in all this country, in all university. We have people mobilizing the youth.
Mm-hmm.
So this will happen anyhow. If you join, then it's fine. We can make it happen easily and more softly. You know, it's a kind of revolution, but we don't need to fight to reach this goal. And it's also better for you because if there is no poverty in Africa anymore, we won't ask you anything. We can pay for your expertise.
Yes.
You will just tell you, look, there is an assignment. How much do you want? This is your money. You come to Africa, you do your thing, you enjoy the nice weather, you go out, you can dance, you can enjoy, and then you go back.
Yeah.
So it can stop the development aid, and we start a new relationship focusing on wealth creation. So this is the street people need to reach. Stop talking about development aid, but talking about wealth creation. That's a new direction I'm trying to.
It reminds me of this concept. Yesterday, I was talking to Desiree Diesenaar from Abundanism.
Mhm.
And it kind of reminds me of this concept, abundance for all. It is possible. We don't have to
Yeah,
keep this system that is like only extracting and kind of hoarding, hamsteren, as they call it in Dutch, that you kind of hoard all of the wealth
yes,
yourself out of like a fear that you won't have enough. And I think if we keep functioning out of that fear, we're just taking and taking, and we're making it worse for ourselves,
yes,
for other people, making it difficult for no reasons for people in the south.
exactly, for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, maybe the people that have some resistance can come and tell us their reasons, but I don't see any reasons why it should continue like this. We are well past a lot of this. It's a paradigm shift. I think.
Exactly.
Um, I think maybe some people have to catch up to that.
Yeah,
Still. But I think we're past this paradigm that people in the South can't take care of themselves, that we're stupid, that we
yeah,
can't learn, that we can't handle our money and our resources. So yeah, I'm very excited to see this equal trade alliance grow and see where it's gonna go. I hope that maybe like South America
yeah,
join.
yeah, yeah. We're going to turn it into global south, but we need to start somewhere. And also, this is a lesson for the world. African people can change this world. So it's changing this paradigm. It's not only talking about economics, but you
Mhm.
said something very important. People are resisting out of fear.
Yes.
But when you think about the Ubuntu philosophy from Africa, if we have the leadership of the world, we can use this kind of concept to stabilize the whole world. We don't need to fight each other. We don't need to think in competitions.
Yeah.
We need each other. That's all.
Yeah.
So it goes much deeper. And the problem at this moment is like, okay, let's say it's global South countries, include African countries. We don't have the political power to express ourselves, to impose our view on the world. At
Yes.
this moment, we are taking everything from outside, and they come inside. They tell you this is the way you have to act. This is the way you have to rule your one country.
Yes.
We have much better system than what is going on in Western countries.
Mhm.
But because we are divided, we don't have this political power to say enough is enough.
Yes.
We don't listen to you. You listen to us. or you don't, or we don't collaborate at all.
Yeah.
But this is political decision, and the way African countries are now, 54 countries. I think you are following the news. You see a 54 African president going to a meeting with one president
Mm.
of China, and then they go to Russia for one meeting with and then they go to the USA to meet one president, and they go to France.
Yeah. Instead of organizing it in Africa,
Recognizing
they
having
come.
one African president, I will never travel. You come to Africa because you need us.
Yes.
I have nothing to look in China, to look for in China or in America. You come to me in Africa and we talk. And
Yes.
I tell you how to do it. If you don't agree with that, we remain friends, but we don't deal.
Yes.
We
And
don't
that's an
trade. It's
issue. Is
fine.
a lot of times these kind of superpowers, once you don't agree with them, they want to superimpose or they come up with some kind of plan to break your country up. It's
Exactly.
kind of sadistic, if you
Yes.
ask me.
Yeah,
Because yeah, why can't we talk as adults and get to like
exactly.
agreements that are mutually
Yes.
beneficial? And you mentioned about Africa being divided, but I wondered in terms of there was an African Union formed, or what is the function now of the
It's a joke. The African Union exists, of course, but I was in Addis Ababa a few months ago, and when I was telling one of the leader there about this concept of equal trade certification,
Mhm.
he told me, Max, this is an eye opener.
Right? Okay.
So I was like, okay, it's good, but you are the leader. It's 25 years already, you are in charge. So you don't think about this kind of thing. Okay, fine. But to come back to a question, let's go back first to why is it Africa divided? Since
Mhm.
the conference in Berlin in 82, they came together, they divide Africa.
Yeah.
They create these fake countries, like Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, Guinea, Congo,
Yeah.
and the same system remain until now. So what's happening with the African Union? I don't know if you are aware of that, but the African Union is been financed by the European Union.
Mm. I'm not surprised. I wasn't aware, but I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
people working at the African Union get their salaries directly from Brussels,
Oh,
from the European Union. They
yeah.
have a specific commission there for Africa. They pay the people working for the African Union.
Mhm.
And the African Union is just something strategic,
Yeah.
to deal with Africa directly from one stage, like they go to Ethiopia and then they can tell all African country, like, okay, this is the direction, this is how we need to go, this is,
Yeah.
and then you get the development aid from us if you go democracy. You get development aid if you initiate this kind of policies. Okay,
Yeah.
but the African Union is not unified Africa we are talking about.
Okay. Yeah, then definitely I didn't know about this European Union. I
Yes,
mean,
then
I could kind of see that it would be kind of like a copy of the European Union, but
no,
I didn't know that it was like a direct
yeah,
sibling of the.
yeah,
like,
it's just part of the game, like they have created these African countries. They also decide to create the African Union,
Mm.
and the African Union headquarter is a gift from China, the building they have
I
there.
also understood that. I understood, yes, because there was some talk about it being bugged.
Yes, and those buildings are full of hidden cameras, microphones. So everything they discuss there,
It's not. It's
the
not.
Secret Service of China listen to it every day.
Yeah.
So they know exactly what's going on in Africa.
Yeah. No, that's not good. I think Africa
Huh?
deserves to have its own space, the same way I see in other countries as China, as the US. They have their own space so that they can talk their things in
You don't come
private.
inside. Yes, they don't have it because they just don't have the money, and that is linked to this international trade system.
Yeah.
So African countries are in a kind of paradox of poverty. They maintain them in this, and then they give them loans, they give them condition to get development aid, which is actually our own money.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our one money we are going to beg for.
Yes.
And then they can tell you, no, you don't get it, you know?
Yeah. It makes some sense.
If you don't jump high, we don't get it from me.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, the African Union, we are thinking about it's more having a continent which is politically united.
Yes.
So we don't have 54 presidents, but we have one president. We don't have 54 armies, but we have one army, which means you don't go anymore from the Netherlands or from US. You say, now I'm going to Ghana.
Yes.
You don't go to Ghana. Ghana has no government. There is an African government, one, and then we start dealing. And if we reach that level, we can control in one time all our resources.
Yes.
So putting all these resources together will give us a power position in the world, because the whole world now is depending on Africa.
Yeah.
So if we can unify Africa and keep these things on our one control, then we can decide whatever we want. One example is like the raw material used for weapon industries. Most of them comes from Africa.
Yeah.
Congo, Zambia, Tanzania, South Africa. If we control these raw materials, we can tell America, we don't want any relation with you as long as you have these weapon policies.
Yeah.
You stop with it, and then we can talk. If you don't want to stop with it, we don't need to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's over.
Yeah.
We can tell anybody what we want. We can tell the Netherlands, listen, if you want to talk with us, to deal with us, you should close Tata Steel. And then we can talk.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, don't come back here. We don't need you, because you are all depending on Africa. So this is the unified Africa we have in mind. And it's not a dream. It's just about having first eradicating this poverty, is bringing African people together.
Mm-hmm.
And if we succeed on this, we become the legitimate leaders of Africa. And people will understand unifying Africa. When we take these borders away, it doesn't mean people from Nigeria will all run to Ghana.
No.
If they can get their share in the national cake, why are they going to Ghana?
Yes.
If Ghanaian people have good life, why are they going to Togo?
Yeah.
To invade Togo? There is no reason. They can go there as tourists or do business.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I get that because I know I worked with a project they're situated in Uganda, but they have a lot of refugee women from Sudan, and the only reason that camp is there is because of the
exactly.
wars that were going on in Sudan, and otherwise they would still be
Yeah.
at home, basically. Yeah.
Exactly. And the condition to this is to change one. You know what they have done after the colonization in Africa? They went to the government, they told them, listen, you change one article in the constitution and then we are in business. And this article they have changed says that the raw materials belong to the governments.
Mm.
And that is the reason of all this corruption in Africa. Because people are fighting to get in the office to be the ones selling the raw materials. And this is something we are going to change by saying the raw materials belong to the people.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone from Zimbabwe could get his share in selling diamonds from every year. You will have money on your account. So why are they going to move to South Africa?
Yeah.
If you give someone from Zimbabwe every year on his bank account $20,000, $30,000, why are they going to South Africa to do what? And stay there as refugee. Look at Sudan now. There is a war, what they call war.
Yeah.
But the real reason is that Russia is using gold from Sudan to fund the war in Ukraine.
Mm.
So they need gold from there.
Yeah.
The best way to get it is to create a kind of conflict.
Yeah, of course. It create chaos and then there's a
Create chaos and then take anything they want.
Yeah.
Because they are dealing with one or two people in the country who are the owners of the raw materials.
Yes.
So those are things people should understand, especially in Africa, because we are running after all this Western concept coming in. You need democracy. And by democracy, they mean you need to organize yourself to get access to this place to be able to sell the raw materials.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's all. The African politicians, they don't have any vision, they don't have any plan, they don't have any ideology.
Mm.
The only thing they are looking for is to get in the office and be the one who are able to sell the raw materials of the country at ridiculous prices, but still they get enough money for a small group of people.
Yeah, and it's like they've created this crab in a bucket situation where everybody's like trying
Exactly.
to get to that top to I think it's basic survival because if you create
Yeah.
such poverty and then on that top you can have a chance of kind of living a normal life, you will be trying to go up there as well to
This is how they maintain Africa in this situation because people are confused and they are surviving.
yes.
That's a perfect combination to keep countries weak.
Yeah.
And you can do anything with a country who is weak. So that's the situation. And when I understand this thing really well, I initiated the Equal Trade Alliance. First, the Equal Trade certification, we are developing it, and then the alliance to advocate for it.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that's a bit. I hope you get it now.
Yes, I understand. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. As I said, I'm excited to see how this develops, and you're definitely welcome later down the line when you have
Yeah, that's good.
updates for us how it's going with the Equal Trade Alliance.
Yeah.
And I'll ask you if is there anything that you want to share as like your closing words for this episode?
Yeah, closing words. What should I say? What is important in life for the generation from now and the next ones is to really try to accept the idea that we are all equal. We are all equal. It doesn't matter if you are a woman or a man, a white, yellow, black. As human beings, we should get this ability to see ourselves as equal.
Yes.
So that is for me the most important message. If you try to do this, it can change your life. And by changing your life internally, you can change things around you. We should stop thinking in competition.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's very, very, very important. Stop thinking about competition and try, maybe it's not too difficult, try to love each other. If you can do that, just try to think we are all equal. Okay, I don't love you, I don't like you, fine, but we are equal. I don't need to dominate and I don't need to be dominated.
Yes, it's live and let live. You
Yes.
have equal rights to be here and have a decent life as the other one, and your way of living shouldn't be affecting the other to the extent that they can't even afford basic needs that we all need, like water, food, shelter. 'Cause I think people aren't even asking that much. They just want, like, they just want to eat and have a place to rest and not
Exactly.
have to constantly worry about how, where am I gonna get money tomorrow? What am I gonna eat? Um, can I walk safely down the street? Like, it's just basic things just to live. And I think that once we reach that point, that we can have a much more beautiful existence together, because once your basic needs are met,
Yeah.
then you can get to do more, um yeah, the things that you're meant to do here on earth,
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
time you have.
Yeah. 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 So that should be my closing message. And I invite you for we are organizing together with the Foundation Arales on 23 of October in Amsterdam, Pakhuis de Zwijger,
Okay.
an event called Neocolonialism of the Netherlands and based in Amsterdam. So, and it's about this cocoa value chain.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much for joining us. Good luck with everything with the Equal Trade Alliance. We will be in contact and following you as well. And we, of course, hope to have you back because we want an update on what's going on.
Yeah.
And to the listeners, thank you for listening to Creation Podcast. Until next time.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me, and till next time.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.